comedians just say words. The audience tells the truth. The scariest noise to people in power are not the words that come out of my mouth, they are the noise that comes out of the audience's mouth. Please understand, a comedian doesn't challenge any power, a comedian has zero power. A comedian doesn't challenge the status quo, the audience challenges the status quo.
Yeah.
The audience tells the truth.
Hi, welcome to Tell Me All. I'm Swati Chopra. Our guest today, who's one of the most important voices in comedy. He's walked a line very few dare to, and he's made it his stage. In today's episode, we go beyond the spotlight and talk about the cost of honesty, censorship, and what is it that pulls him back to the mic in spite of the risks. Hi, Veer. Welcome to the Quint.
Hi, but that's a hell of a menu. I only want to talk about one of those things. But it's fine.
Which one?
Why I'm pulled back to the mic.
Why you're pulled back. I think that's the most important.
I know. There you go.
It is.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We're so happy you're here. It's a conversation I've been really waiting for, I think, for the last 3 years.
What you and I always talk about when we see each other is how media... I say shy, you say wary. I am, yeah.
And that's correct too.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm optimistic about what's happening with the media, at least in terms of the last 5 or 6 things I've seen promoted are people being genuine and authentic, and I think now if you don't do that, promotion seems very vacuous and very surface level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
I'm so glad saying something good about the media.
Well, let's not get carried away. Yeah.
You know, I of course do want to talk about everything I said in my introduction, but before that, I want to take you back to a quote where you referred to yourself as Vada Pav, right? Suggesting that there's this familiarity, consistency, and the fact that you found your flavor.
Yeah.
Right? When someone finds their flavor as well as you have, which everybody loves, right? What does growth then look like to you?
It's a really good question. I think it's scaring yourself then. I don't say this with arrogance, but I can put tickets on sale in various parts of the world and people will come.
Yes.
At least for the next year, 2 years, whatever, I can take it for granted that
For a
people
long
will come. So then it is, how do you top what you did last? Now, if your metric is how do I sell more tickets than I did last, that's one metric. Or if it is how do I up the production of what I did last,
Right.
that's one metric. For me, it's what scares me. You know, so what have I not tried? What am I not good at? Is there something that's unfamiliar for me? And then that's what I spend my time doing. So last year I just spent time doing that.
I don't think you ever have to worry about tickets being sold because they
No,
actually go in 3 seconds. Touch wood.
You can't
3
take that for
seconds.
granted. Yeah,
It's
but
very cool.
Touch wood.
Touch wood.
एक दिन अगले हफ्ते नहीं होगा. You don't know.
Hoika. So I want to kind of rewind and take you back right to the beginning. What was growing up like for you?
I left Dehradun when I was 6 months old, so I
Right.
don't remember that too much, but I was in Africa, so I remember that being a very privileged but very small existence. Indian community was very small.
Yeah.
We were largely behind armed gates. People working very hard, very away from home. You can get very homesick in Africa. There's nothing very much that reminds me of India in Africa, unless you're in South Africa. You know, you weren't allowed to leave the compound. So there was one basketball net, and me and my sister had to find ways to entertain ourselves. So our parents did a very smart thing where when I was about 9 and Trisha was about 13, they sent us to boarding school in India. And then life opened up. Other kids, north of India, we got a bit of an, Indian upbringing. We kind of then had this mixed, slightly Western, slightly Indian upbringing.
Yeah. And then, of course, you went to the US as well to study, right?
Yeah.
So you're somebody who's sort of grown up across continents. What is this kind of, like this movement that you constantly had, what does it do to you as a person? How does that really shape you into adulthood?
Well, my entire comedic perspective is the outsider perspective, if you think about it. An outsider in Mumbai, a Delhiite in Mumbai, an African in Delhi, a kid from Africa in boarding school, a Mumbaiker in the US. That's who I am, is the outsider. And it takes a while to round the corner and say, okay, I will never fully be from somewhere.
Right.
And that's okay. I think it is advantageous as an artist to fully be from somewhere.
Yeah.
Because people get behind you from, because, when Diljit does Coachella, people are like, Punjabi aa gaye Coachella. You know what I mean? So it helps to be from somewhere.
Yeah.
And to rally a community behind you. So I had to accept roughly, but this thing that I'm not fully from somewhere.
Right.
I'm from everywhere.
You're from everywhere.
And then therefore my comedy has to cater to everywhere.
Yeah. But do you not now at least feel like home when you're in Bombay?
I'm a Mumbaiker.
Yeah,
through
right?
And through and through.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I am a Mumbaiker. I'm a Mumbai story. I was able to come here and I was able to find some people and we were able to build a comedy scene and it turned into something pretty goddamn tremendous. You know what I mean? So that's very much a Mumbai story. That doesn't happen everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you had to talk about your childhood, what were you like growing up in terms of as a student? Do you remember boarding school days? What were you like?
I'm dyslexic, so I struggled a lot academically. I can't write cursive. I have a problem with numbers, so I was very lost in imagination. And I was dyslexic before dyslexia was a thing.
People didn't know what it
Yeah,
was
like
back
to give
then.
you context, I gave both of my board exams in caps. I wrote the
Oh.
entire thing in caps because I cannot write cursive till date. So I was very much lost in my imagination in boarding school, and I was a bullied kid. A fair amount in boarding school. I didn't really come into my own. I left boarding school when I was in class 9 and went to DPS Noida. And that's when I kind of found friends and debating and dramatics. And class 11 is when I became open with people. But yeah, boarding school, I don't think anybody in Sana remembers I was there also. Because
But now they do, I'm sure.
no, from my batch, no. Like it's ironic. I think comedians are either the coolest kid in school or the biggest loser in school.
You've said that before as well, I remember.
And the coolest kid in Sanar is Papa CJ, who was head boy, and he became a comic.
Yeah.
And I became a comic as well. I was the loser from school.
So what shifted when you went to Noida? Like you said, you found yourself there. What was that shift like for you? What changed? Did you change or it
No,
was just the
there's a lady
environment?
called Surjit Khanna, who's my
Okay.
English teacher, and she got me into debating, dramatics, and she kind of realized, okay, his academics will never be good, but I'm going to push him into what he's good at. And she's
Right.
one of the few teachers who kind of sat me down and said, no, you're good at this. Like, keep doing this. I will make time for you to do this. I will
Yeah.
let you bunk class for you to do this. But you are unnaturally good at this, so please keep doing it.
Right.
Then she directed a play. I got to star in the play. She fought with my parents so I could keep doing dramatics in class 12. Thanks to her, really, I got into college because I got a 58 in my 12th boards. And so everybody's like, iska to gaya, iska life over. But then debating, dramatics, and basketball got me 10% each, and I got into Venki because of that.
Yeah.
On the ECA quota. So, yeah.
You know, I feel everybody has an English teacher story
Yeah.
who helped them. Even for me, I have an English teacher story who also saw, okay, isko to math, science, iska kuch nahi hone wala hai. Isko, let's push her in dramatics, let's make her do debates. And that's exactly how I found my space.
I feel like you go either way.
Yeah,
what I
like
mean?
you find
either-
your voice one of the places.
Truth or fiction. Like one of the two. And who
Which
knows
one
which
is
is which right now. So, yeah.
I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
which one do you think is the truth
Yeah.
of the fiction?
Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't.
Nobody knows. The line is very blurred actually now.
It is, but I think people are getting smarter. I think social media is far more damaging than journalism right now. Nobody knows what's real anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you as a parent must be... Is your child on social media?
No. No
how old
way.
is your child?
He's 9.5.
So then around the corner, 4-5 years maybe?
Oh, he keeps telling me he wants to be on social media, but he isn't allowed. And when I tell him till 18, he's like, "You really think I'm going to wait till 18?" I said, "Yes, you are."
Maybe I'm old school, but I think a girl should wait till she's older on social media than a boy
I have a
should.
boy.
So a boy you can put on early.
No.
But girls get very unfair attention very young on social
You
media.
know, I'm going to tell you some of the stuff that happens off camera.
Okay, cool.
And you'd be like, no, maybe till 25 then.
Alright,
in that
there you go, yeah.
case. Okay, we spoke about school life, of course. If we had to talk about college, right? What is that one memory from college that kind of lives rent-free in your mind?
I had graduated college and I had gotten into this program in Boston.
Right.
At Harvard, they have a short program called the Stanislavski School. I was living in South Boston. I had to change 2 buses every day and to go to college in this thing because I couldn't afford the room and board. And I had a guitar and I would earn $11 a day singing in Harvard Square. That was nice. So it was a
Wow.
kind of a nice life where
Yeah.
I was a theatre student, but you'd get up in the morning, you'd go and I'd sing for 2 hours at about 6 a.m. while people were going to work at the co-op and in the professors, etc.
Yeah.
They'd leave me like 50 cents or $1. And then I'd get like $5-6. And there's a place called Akbar's Punjabi Dhaba that sold samosas for 39 cents. And I'd get that and I'd get like 8 samosas and that was my meal through the day. And then I'd do like half an hour in the evenings when people were going away from work. But it was this nice like summer in my life. I was young, I was single, I had a guitar, I was in Boston, I had no money and life is all right, you know. So that's a good, I think, one of the best summers of my life.
I think it's a great experience to have as somebody who's in college
Yeah.
to kind of explore life like this. In the US, when you went to study, you did a lot of gigs back then as well.
Yeah.
What did the early days of being on stage, doing your sets, what did that teach you about comedy? The early days of
That jokes
on
don't
stage.
work and stories work. I think that's what it teaches you. You know, that
Interesting.
I was going up and I was telling Americans about the cockroach in my bathroom or, you know, a girl who rejected me or something like that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden when I started talking to them about some sort of Indian experience and what it felt like to be an alien or an Indian in America, all of a sudden you'd see them just kind of come into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're looking for something new. Like, why me? Like, any American could have talked about the cockroach in the bathroom and the girl who rejected them.
Yeah.
So why have they come and seen me? And can I introduce them to a version of India that the local Indian isn't able to give them? And I still kind of maintain that till date.
LinkedIn is pretty amazing at helping you grow your small business. We cannot make your email response time faster. We can help you sell, market, and hire in one place. We cannot help you find space for your 3 desk drinks. Why do you have 3? And while we can't help you find the perfect volume for your presentation video, LinkedIn can help you find the perfect audience for your business. Grow your small business on LinkedIn. Learn more at linkedin.com/smallbusiness.
It's amazing that a realization you had back then, you still continue to kind of live up to it, because a lot of people kind of, steer away a little bit to kind of cater to maybe what's working. Then what really makes you hold
I
on?
don't know what
to-
works. I don't know. And also what's working changes every 5
But
bloody
that's what I'm
minutes,
saying,
so you
yeah.
can't.
But
It's
you
not
still
bankable
held
also.
on to what you felt. Okay, this is it. This is what I think works. Clearly, from what I'm understanding till now, is that everything that's happened or what you've been doing, you've not really like strategized or really thought about it. Something you've let things happen to you, or just gone, like I like to say, just go with the script that's written.
Yeah, in a very till date kind of a way. Like, this new special
Yes.
was supposed to be, it's called Full Volume. And the
Yes.
reason it's called Full Volume is because I lost my voice 6 weeks before the special. I started to rewrite the show in my head. I had a full script ready, and then I spent 6 weeks in silence before filming it. And all of a sudden you go, oh, all I have is who I am right now in this experience.
Yeah.
And so you start to write about that. So it went from being a show about joy to being a show entirely about silence in 6 weeks. Netflix bought a show about joy, and then we filmed a show about silence. And by the way, kudos Netflix for being supportive and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. But you're trained as an artist to go, okay, this is my experience, and I
Right.
have to completely lean into this. Because that's what's worked for me so far. Because it would almost feel to have this silent experience and then to try and do the old material when you're not the same guy anymore.
Yeah.
Feels inauthentic, and comedy inauthenticity is what kills you.
I want to talk about Full Volume, of course, a little later, but since you
Yeah.
brought it up, right? What did the 6 weeks of silent change in you?
It was terrible. It was, you discover what a horrible person you are, because you're only living with your intrusive thoughts in your brain. You know what I mean? So all you have to talk to are your intrusive thoughts. And in that time, I tried physiotherapy, I tried vocal coaching, I tried steroids, I tried homeopathy, I tried pundits removing nazar, I tried myofascial release, I tried Adele, speech therapist,
Yeah.
I tried chakra healing,
Yeah.
I tried everything. So I was just desperate because
Yeah.
12,000 people are coming in 6 weeks, and every doctor is telling you, no, it's going to be 6 months before you can do this.
Oh my God.
So it's terrible. I would not, on my worst enemy, I would not wish that experience. Then suddenly you're in your head going, that joke doesn't work. I don't like that joke. That sounds so cheesy. That's too cheerful.
Yeah.
Let's do this thing. So you're just rewriting. You're supposed to shoot a special when you're at your most rehearsed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you've done like
Yeah.
180 shows and you know the material. I did new material in front of 12,000 people rehearsed once. So that's the show. So whether it works or not, I don't know. But it's authentic.
It's going to work.
I hope so.
Authenticity. I mean, come on, that's what really sells. I think people are really looking for authentic voices. And you're one of the few who really brings that. Whether it's a rehearsed show or not, at least the voice we know that we hear is authentic.
Touch wood. I hope it. There are many precautions one has to take to kind of stay authentic a little bit,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to take.
If I had to take you back to again performing, say back then, and when you look at yourself performing today on stage, do you remember that kind of a moment you had, like, okay, this is my space, I found it?
I starting to feel that way now a little bit. My 10,000 hours are done.
Yeah.
So I feel like comfortable on stage now.
Yeah.
I know my craft.
After
and
10,000 hours, not before.
Not before. I don't think it's a moment, but it comes once in every show.
Nice.
Once in every show, there's what you call flow state. It's where like you and the audience are both breathing at the same pace.
How nice is that?
You're hot, you're sweaty, they are hot, they're sweaty.
Yeah.
But they are like, oh, fuck, it's so good to be here. And I'm so happy I Ubered or I got a
Yeah.
babysitter or we're all in this. And then you're also like, we're all in this. And
Yeah.
your breathing matches, you and the audience. And that happens sometimes for like 4 or 5 minutes in a show.
Yeah.
And that is like pure flow state. And to me, like stand-up is temperature. Some musicians play color.
Yes.
I play temperature. And so in that moment, you and the audience are the same temperature.
Right.
Your body temperature is the same. That's when you know, like, yeah, I was meant for this. We're the same temperature.
So it keeps happening. It's not like that one show made me realize this is space for me.
No, I don't look back at...
But I think that's amazing as well, right? That kind of reconfirmation or reinforcement of what you believe is true every time.
Yeah, but also I see it as like I always wonder, like I wish I could take people on stage and you could see what I see. That's a view. You know what I mean? Like if you've ever seen 12,000 people
No.
and they're just kind of going, some tasalli is happening.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it's a really good thing to look at. It's good for your soul. It's good for your humility.
Yeah.
It's good for all of that stuff. That's not affirmation of what I feel.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's a projection of what they feel.
Yeah.
And it reminds you of what like your responsibility is in that moment. If you see 12,000 people satiated, maza aa raha hai, we're in this. You're not feeling like, yeah, I did this.
No.
I
understand.
You
the
know what I mean?
difference.
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
You are feeling, I have to preserve this. This is precious.
Yeah.
I have to extend this. It gives you more stress, but it's a beautiful thing.
I want to talk a little bit about the comedy scene in India right in the beginning when you were doing shows at the Comedy Store in Bombay in Lower Parel, right?
Yeah.
Right? And I remember that time tickets were priced at 500, 600 a ticket, and I used to go there as well at that point. When you looked at the scene back then, what really kept you going when you're looking at saying, oh, is this it? Talking to you already in this much time, I can say, like you said, it was never about the money.
No, it was about what was denied to us. It was when the Comedy Store started. They were like, we'll put the white comics that are coming from the UK on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But the Indian comics got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then we were like, no, we want Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we started working hard to get good for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then we'd see theatres in Bombay.
Yeah.
St. Andrews, Tata, Prithvi. And we were like, yeah, humko kyun nahi milta hai? We are also a stage art form.
Yeah.
So then we started working hard for that. I remember indie musicians started to play NH7, right? And we were like, why don't we have a festival? Yeah. So we did a festival. We were like, we need to be on TV as well. So when you're new, you're very conscious of what you don't have rather than what you have. And sometimes going for what you don't have can unlock things in you as an artist. So that's really what we were doing. We were like, no, we want Friday.
Yeah.
We want St. Andrews on a Friday. And we want to shoot it for a TV channel.
So from there, we finally have you where you found your voice. I'm going to again go back to a quote that you said in an interview. You said, if it reveals the truth, it will make people laugh.
Yeah.
Right? When you think of the statement that you made, do you think it's become even more difficult to kind of speak truth on stage today in comparison to back then?
I think it's tougher because people don't know what's real anymore. If nothing else, it's because of the audience.
Right.
You don't know what's real anymore. I did a trial show at Habitat yesterday.
Right.
And a lot of young people were like, bro, spoke facts. Have you seen that comment?
No.
Half the Instagram comments are, so many languages, bro chose to speak facts. You know what I mean? Oh my God, he spoke that.
Yes, spoke facts.
Right, So I'm like, they've been lied to so much, a fact is impressive to them, right? There's so many alternate realities that a fact is an anomaly to a young person right now.
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, it's much tougher to convince people of what the truth is.
You think it's distorted today?
Yeah.
It's very distorted.
Whatever version of truth you like, you can have. Yeah, like Elon Musk right now, if Iran and somebody are in a conflict, he can convince whoever he wants that whoever won. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter who actually... etc. He can control that reality. He can reduce traction on one narrative, up traction on another narrative. It's the truth is a commodity right now, and I think the audience is kind of strangely accepting of that because of the dopamine that the platform offers them in other sources.
Right.
So you're like, yeah, I want the drug, and I'll take the distortion, the hallucination that comes with it because the drug feels good.
When you're providing the audience with this drug of facts, the truth, right? When do you decide, or how do you decide that this truth is worth risking? I will say it.
I don't do that here. I think as opposed to other types of comedy, in my comedy, I start to write a story and the truth slips out. But it's not like, it's not like standing on a soapbox kind of comedy.
Yeah.
I'm in my 40s. I'm a political being. I consume the news. Any apolitical 40-year-olds? You can't be in your 40s and be apolitical. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can't.
That's a 20 to 30-year-old luxury, and that's fine. I want to get laid. I'm apolitical. But you're 40 years old. Know about the world. So it slips out.
Yeah.
My politics will invade my art at some point.
But then do you ever go back and say, okay, it slipped out while I was telling a story. Maybe it's not worth the risk. Have you ever kind of gone back to it saying, okay...
I don't think you can calculate the risk. Whatever you think is going to get you into trouble never gets you into trouble. And then it's the thing that nobody thought of that, gets you into trouble. Do you think when they shot that song in Pathan, they thought that would get them into trouble? Nobody on that set thought that would get them into trouble. They were just shooting a song, man. They were having a good time. You can't predict these things. इतना कैसा सोचेगा आदमी? You know what I mean? कि क्या किसको लगेगा? You go insane.
So you were saying one will never know what offends the other, right?
No,
And
I don't think
sometimes the thing you're like, oh, listen, this is so casual. इससे तो किसी को फर्क पड़ेगा ही नहीं. The problem with that is also, लोग बस ये नहीं बोलते कि okay, I disagree with you, right? और they say यार ये ठीक नहीं है. They will like give. They'll say unsavory comments that'll hurt you, they'll hurt your family, and they'll pull you down like there's no tomorrow. Then how do you, as somebody who says that I write a story and I let this truth slip in, how do you then kind of deal with what's to come without ever being prepared for what's to come?
I draw a clear line. I'm fair game. My family is not fair game. The controversies that I have had have come after my family pretty hard.
Yeah.
Right, my wife and the number of threats that my wife has gotten, etc., etc. So I draw the line there. There's a difference between feedback and action.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, I'll take my feedback head down, mouth shut, humble. Right, if you don't like something, that's fine.
Yeah.
You're not watching it also is fine. Screaming from the rooftops that you don't like it is also fine. But it's pretty audacious to say that the things I don't like should not exist.
Yes.
You know, therefore they need to be shut down. Yeah. That's pretty audacious. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
But please scream, please shout, please give feedback, please do all of that stuff. We'll take it. But we will continue to exist.
Yeah.
And you'll have to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know.
But then does that fear kind of make you also hold back sometimes? We saying, yeah, it's not worth it. You know, it's not worth maybe letting this truth slip.
No. I don't know. I can't predict what to hold back on. I just write and then you'll find out. Yeah, you are the audience.
Yeah.
You'll tell me where the line is. But it's my job as a comic to walk up to it. And you let me know if it's good or bad.
Because we also live in a world where I remember in the same week, you were hailed as a hero. And in the same week, people called you a traitor.
Yeah.
Right? How does one then kind of, you know, maneuver the duality of these two sentiments at the same time?
Very emotionally and quite clumsily. I don't know. I just shut up, you know, and I wrote about it. What you're referring to is, was at the Emmys. And I did the two Indias, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't go on any news channels. I didn't do any interviews. I didn't go on any podcasts. I just shut up and wrote a show about it. And I made it funny. So I disappeared for 5 months. There's no work also. So that was the work went away. But in retrospect, I got good advice. You know, Priyanka is my lawyer, Priyanka Khimani. And she said, you know, a news cycle is about 10 days or 12 days. Please shut up for 10 days or 12 days. उसके बाद देखेंगे. If you're still on the news after 10 days, 12 days, then we'll tackle it. Right? But if you keep talking, you'll propagate 10 days into 15 days, into 20 days, into 30 days. So I just shut up for a bit. And then very much there was just nothing to do. You know what I mean? There was no work. I had 3 projects signed, all failed, all backed away. I had 14, 15 brands go away at that time.
That's awful.
About triple of all of those numbers right now. So I'm all right. You know, I wrote a really good show because I had the time to do so, and it won an Emmy. So all's well that ends well, I guess.
Looking at the silver lining.
Yeah.
You know, you spoke about Two Indians. That's something, I think it's a show that I absolutely also love. It was political. It was poetic as well. And it was somewhere your own truth, right? Where you were talking about the reality of India. Do you think that show was somewhere maybe misunderstood and it became more than just a show?
I don't know. I still don't know. There are many things about that show that I would have done differently. It would have been tighter. Yeah, it would have been tighter. The grammar would have been better. It was done on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like some public thing. Yeah. And it was one of many videos like that on my YouTube channel. Why that one went, who knows? It was majorly shared on WhatsApp and it was shared domestically. So the whole bahar jaake, etc. Nobody watched it abroad.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
I have the analytics of this thing on my channels. 97% of the views on those videos came from India. They didn't come from anywhere else. No foreigners saw that.
Speaks volumes.
Right? But the allegation that bahar jaake bola, I didn't know what to make of it at the time, and then it became a thing.
Yeah.
And then one ruling party member said it in parliament, then one opposition member said it in parliament, then news anchors started saying it. And I was like, but these are the same people that were calling me all of these names, saying it themselves, and it's been said 10 times before me by Gulzar Saab and by, all of these people, etc. I just still don't quite know how that happened. It was a zeitgeist moment kind of a thing.
When we are talking about censorship, when we are talking about the freedom of speech, and how some things kind of get misconstrued or misunderstood by people, right? Because intent and impact
Yeah.
cannot always be gauged before you put something else
Sure,
out, right?
yeah.
When you look at this, and when you look at your counterparts internationally in the stand-up comic scene, when you look at freedom of speech, how different is it for both?
It's very different, yeah. What are we talking about?
Being able to say what you think, being able to talk about, say, the political environment, or talk about the country at large.
It's different kind of restrictions, right? I always say in India, speech is free, but there are follow-up costs. That's it. That's it. Speech is free.
Yeah.
You can say what you like, but there are costs that come after lawyers and physiotherapists and all of that stuff, etc., right? But sometimes I look at like Western comics who are quote-unquote edgy, and I laugh a little bit because I'm like, this bro wouldn't last
A day.
a day. Either तुम्हारे घर पे कोई आ गया ना और तुम्हारा, they're like, "Arey, people are trying to cancel me on Twitter." I'm like, Twitter? यहाँ पर तुम्हारा club तोड़ देंगे. You know what I mean? What are you talking about, Twitter? So sometimes when I see young kids, they're like, India का Dave Chappelle किधर है? India का Ricky Gervais किधर है?
कहाँ से आएगा?
I'm like, वो आदमी 5 मिनट में भाग के चला जाएगा यहाँ से.
बिल्कुल.
ट्रेवर नोआ आया स्टेडियम में 5 कुत्ते भौंके वो आदमी निकल गया यहाँ से. Like, what are you talking about? India is not for beginners. That's this thing.
Yeah.
We are our own thing, and you cannot have equivalence between us and them.
Sometimes,
our edge is different edge only.
Sometimes when I watch, say, a Ricky or what's the other guy I find really cool, Matt something, is like
Matt Rife.
Yes, I really love his stuff as well. When I watch the stuff and I'm thinking, dude, if he said any of these things in India, he would not know where to go and hide his face.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Do you think if he said those things in India as a foreigner, he'd be fine?
Foreigner in India.
That's the question, right?
I get what you're saying.
A foreign comic can come down here and say things.
And get away with it.
Why? That you wouldn't let a local comic get away with. It's something to think about. Even if it is vulgarity or whatever. Umpteen foreign comics have come here and done very vulgar shows talking about body parts and sex and all of that stuff, etc., etc., etc.
They've gotten away with it.
But you see an Indian comic doing like, etc., etc. But you paid for the arena for that foreign comic to come and do it. There's a little bit of hypocrisy there sometimes.
I don't know in this climate where how you really challenge the status quo,
But why should you just do jokes? And the status quo will get challenged if the joke works. That's it.
I keep thinking sometimes, if I had to just put myself in your shoe right now and be the person that you are, right? Who wants to challenge the status quo, or who wants to talk about what but you don't want to. You just, it's something that's natural to you.
Okay, I'll tell you a bit that I have in my new special.
Right.
All right, which is people don't understand what stand-up comedy is.
Okay.
Happiness watched is greater than happiness lived. That's why people like watching stand-up comedy. They're not watching the comedian, they're listening to the audience. They're listening to laughter leave their body and enter another person's body.
Right.
Because laughter, when expressed, joy when shared, is hope.
Yeah.
It's strength. Comedians just say words. The audience tells the truth. The scariest noise to people in power are not the words that come out of my mouth. They are the noise that comes out of the audience's mouth. Please understand, a comedian doesn't challenge any power. A comedian has zero power. A comedian doesn't challenge the status quo. The audience challenges the status quo.
Yeah.
The audience tells the truth.
Because once they agree or resonate or laugh or cry with what you're saying,
Yeah.
that's when it is the moment of truth.
Yeah.
And that is challenging.
Yeah, like if I went up on stage and I was like, hey, the roads in Bandra are great right now.
Yeah.
Who told the truth? You or me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Simple, right? I just made a statement.
Yeah.
I said it with all seriousness. You laughed.
Yeah.
So who's telling the truth? That's what stand-up is, right? At the end of
Yeah.
the day. The audience tells the truth. I'm just saying nonsense.
You've set me thinking right now. See, this is what I mean. Conversations like this, because you're also leaving a conversation thinking about it differently.
Yeah.
And that is what is exciting, to sit across from someone and learn something.
Yeah.
It's very rare.
I can be like a celebrity if you want. I can be,
अच्छा एक मिनट के लिए आप वो celebrity बन जाओ, ठीक है?
अच्छा, what
मैं भी
celebrity
next
like?
question पूछती हूँ. एक मिनट के लिए you'll answer like proper celebrity
No,
types,
no.
ठीक है? Has self-censorship, okay, become like a survival skill for stand-up comics?
You want the celebrity answer?
दोनों करते हैं.
I think the celebrity answer is, I believe that a certain amount of censorship is a good thing because I have a film coming up and I really do believe that I trust in the infinite wisdom of
no.
I
I think I want to
But
read back.
the comedian answer is, I don't self-censor, but I let the audience censor me.
Okay.
In terms of like, comedy is rewriting, right? So
Right.
it's I'll try a joke. If you don't like it, you let me know, and then I'll rewrite it
Right.
according to that. So you are censoring me as an
Hanji.
audience, but an audience that I trust and that I put on a pedestal with regards to your intelligence and our
Yeah.
mindset and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking, don't say this. You let me know, don't say this, and then I'll rethink it and rewrite it and re-say it. That's how it works.
So when you look at, stand-up comics or other artists kind of get into trouble for something they've said,
Sure.
something controversial they've said, like if, of course, Kunal Kamra is sort of the poster boy for saying things and getting into trouble for it, right? When you look at moments like this happening and unfolding in front of you, what does that really tell you about what's going on?
Okay, I'm going to give you a long-winded answer, and I'll tell you why. When a comedian makes headlines, the number one thing a comedian is asking himself is, why am I on the news? I'm just doing jokes. Why am I making headlines?
Bilkul.
Right? So I'm aware of the weight my words carry. So if I refer to another comedian, I'm making him make headlines again, and he's just beaten the news cycle and gotten out of the headlines and gone back
Bilkul.
to his normal life.
Bilkul.
So I don't want to do that to another comic.
I respect that.
We're all in touch with each other and we talk
Yeah.
in private.
Yeah.
Bhai lag gayi, etc., etc.,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah.
But I don't want to put another guy on the
But
news.
it's nice to know that there is this support as a community.
For sure,
That's
for
great.
sure. There is monetary support, there is legal support, there is emotional support. All of us are in touch with each other.
I love that.
I think when you do political satire in India, and there are people who do it well, there are people who are getting good at it, there are people who are doing it less nuanced as well. You are doing it from a place of peace in your mind. You've made peace with the machine that you're performing in, and you've made peace with the fact that you will probably lose to the machine. But I submit to you that the victory is, in the long run, showing people who the human being is and who the machine is. You'll lose to the machine, but at least you'll prove that you're not the machine.
It's tough to do, though. It's really tough.
I'm not a purely political satirist, so
Yeah.
I would imagine it is tougher for them than it is for me. Yeah, but I mean, this profession is hard to do. If you can do anything else and be happy, please, for God's sakes, do that. Don't do this profession. It's very hard.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. Okay, I'm going to take you back to one more line you said, okay? Since we're talking about artists and fear and everything that comes with it. You said, as an artist, I don't have a lot of fear anymore,
Yeah.
right? Was there a time that you did? And what shifted when you made the statement?
I'm scared still. I don't know if that's... I'm wrong then. I shouldn't have said that. I'm still very afraid. I did 5 things last year that scared the shit out of me.
Which were those?
I wrote a book. It's very scary.
In November, that's coming
In
out.
November, that's coming
Yes.
out. I co-directed and starred in a movie, and I haven't been in a Hindi movie in 10 years. In 9 years, I walked away from it.
That's a question a lot of people have. Aren't you doing movies, which I'm going to ask you in a bit.
I have to somehow make a movie comeback this year as a leading man, and I don't know how it's going to go. I put
Yeah.
my heart and soul into it, but it could sink or swim, but at least on my own terms, with the kind of content that I like. This Netflix special says a
Yeah.
lot of things, and there's a couple of other things that I'm trying that are very scary. So I'm very afraid as an artist. Very, very afraid.
Okay, I don't know. But maybe, do you think that this statement wasn't really being afraid of trying new things? And maybe it was more about saying the things that you want to? I don't know. I'm just trying to take you back to when you
Or
said
maybe
it.
it's about being on stage. Like, I'm not afraid on stage anymore. You
Okay.
put me on a stage, I'm home.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
put me under hot lights, dusty stage, I'm home.
Yeah.
I was born there, as far as I'm concerned.
So it could just be about that. I want to move on and talk about the Emmy nod. What does such a big nod mean to you as an artist?
Not very much. If I went on stage with an Emmy, it would only make my life more difficult. It was tough to perform after the Emmy,
Why would you say that?
because I had to immediately shit on it. I had to immediately disarm the audience. So in this special, it's the first thing I say. It's I won an Emmy award. Thank you so much. I'm now critically acclaimed, except the acclaim comes from white people, so nobody gives a shit. White validation is brown kryptonite, right? So that disarms and says, I don't take it too seriously,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't either.
I remember when we met before also, and you were going to go for the Emmy, and you said that, if I win or not, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they are kind of nominated for such big honors and, there's so much stress, I for a minute didn't think you felt the pressure of winning, even in that conversation. And I see the same kind of thing, like,
Well, also
it's
keep in
okay.
mind, the first time I went to the Emmys, I was called a terrorist in the news that week. So I was like, at this point, any other Emmy experience will be better than that Emmy experience. Let's be clear. Yeah, it's in a cupboard. It's in my wife and my garam kapde ka cupboard. Emmy is near like sweater and thermal and like some
keeping
down
it warm.
jacket.
You're
Yeah,
keeping
it's
it warm.
keeping it warm.
You're
But it's
keeping
got thermocol case, and it's just in there.
Like I told you a little earlier, there are a lot of people who want to know, why haven't you been doing films?
I think I made some wrong choices early on. Where I envy a Nepo kid is not the fact that they have the opportunity, but they have the counsel of people who know this business really well. And I never expected to be in this business, so I just didn't understand scripts very well, and I didn't understand choices very well.
Right.
And I didn't understand how important it was to be making good choices early on. And I was just so overawed to be in it. And I was like, my God, a studio wants to sign me, let's go.
Yeah.
And I said yes too much. And I said yes to a bunch of stuff I wouldn't watch. And then it started to feel like not a lot of fun. And then I fell in love with stand-up. And then I was like, there's a genuine opportunity here to be one of the, on a very short list of people.
You can say it.
Right, but that's going to require everything.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be able to do that from vanity vans and film sets and all of that stuff. It's going to require life. So I gave it that. And then I really missed acting. I got a call from Dharma, 2 years ago. And they were like, there's this thing called Call Me Bae. And Panchami, who casted it, was like, she really loves you and she wants you. And I'm like, I'm not the guy you call for a Dharma project. What's wrong with you? I'm the guy who makes fun of the Dharma project. You know what I mean? Like, and they were like, no, please come and read. And so Colin and I just kind of jammed. And my wife Shivani was like, just do it. Just treat it as a gift. Just see what happens. And that kind of unlocked something in me where I was like, oh, I miss
being on sets.
Being on camera. When I started in, I don't like the word Bollywood, but the Hindi film industry, there weren't really comedic leading men, in 2009, 2010, 2011. That's changed now. So last year I called up Amir sir and I was like, I have a film and I think only you can produce it. And he did. So me and Kavi co-directed the movie. It's called Happy Patel, Khatarnak Jasoos. I play Happy Patel. Kavi is, if you watch Love Aajkal.
Yes, of course I have.
I'm dancing on this side of Saif.
Yeah.
There's in Can We Twist, I'm a background extra.
Yes, I've seen that.
Right. And Kavi's on the other side of Saif. So we are two guys who met in the background of Saif. And we've co-directed this movie that Amir has produced, and I got to co-write and I play the title character. I don't know how it's going to go, but it's me. At least whether it works or not, it is what I think is funny. Finally.
Yeah.
On screen.
So we have Colin to thank for you coming back on screen, because you said Call Me Bae kind of shifted something and said, okay, I should be on the sets again.
But Colin gave me complete freedom, right? He was like, improvise, try anything. And that cast was also so good that they let me, so I tried all sorts of stupid things. Because, it was like Gurfateh and Ananya and Niharika, Lyra, and a bunch of other people. And suddenly in one scene, I'm singing a song about being bored or something like that, etc., etc. Because Colin and I, we had a system where I was like, I'll do one for you.
Yeah.
But when you have it, please give me one for me. And never use it, but let's try some shit.
Okay.
Right? So he always gave me one extra take. And in that take, the ensemble had to go with whatever the hell I did.
So fun though.
And it's kind of nice to be the villain, because the villain gets to push people, right? And do stakes and all of that stuff. And Ananya's really good that way. She really improvises very well. Even Gurfateh really kind of improvises really well. So that was nice.
You're talking about sets. If I had to take you back to the sets of Delhi Belly, okay, what's the one day that you remember from that set as clear as day?
Imran had just become Imran. So Jane Tu had just come out and there were 3,000 girls screaming, Imran, Imran. Everybody went, Imran, Imran, Imran. Right? And then I'd come out ganja covered in cement. And I remember one day, one girl was like, Imran, 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 Imran. I walked out of the van, she's like, ye villain hoga. Because I just looked like shit.
I don't remember the last time I laughed so much.
Bhal, I loved sharing a van with Imran and Kunal. Imran Khan, man. 3 o'clock in the morning, zero makeup, any angle, he looks good, man. It's so pissing off.
He still does.
He still does, no? He looks damn good. He's like our Hugh Grant. That was Imran Khan. Remember that rom-com?
Hugh Grant also till now looks good in every angle.
Yeah, Hugh Grant is now free. He's doing great shit.
You have spoken a little bit about how the industry, I would like to think that every industry is slightly transactional. It's not just the entertainment industry.
Yeah, sure. Stand up as well. Make no mistake. I'm sitting this way and looking at you this way now.
That's okay. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Cool.
Mic hilao, jo karna hai karo. Koi problem nahi. हमने आपको बहुत time से इधर बिठा के रखा है. So how do you kind of survive or make it in an industry that seems so transactional? Because you don't seem like this at all, Yaveed. From whatever little I met you in the past and from whatever conversation we've had till now.
मेरा इतना लोग है,
हाँ,
लेकिन अच्छा लोग है. I will never make lots of little money from lots of people. I'll make money from this many people. So my art will never be massive, but it'll be passionate. And so then when you realize that my tribe is small, but it's a damn good tribe, then you are just trying to impress that tribe. Then you lose the loftier goals of celebrity and the trappings of all of that stuff. My car is 12 years old or some 10 years old because I lived in Goa and I don't see the need for a new car. These clothes are not mine. These shoes are mine. It wouldn't matter to my people what car I pulled up in and what clothes I was wearing. That tribe has grown, I cannot deny, quite largely in the last 2-3 years. I'm just hoping there are enough of them to watch a movie. That's it. That comes out. I'm hoping that it's grown that much.
I've realized over the years, we've seen this shift on people cast as per followers, okay? And I know that it happens. But those are not the people who are really coming to the theatres to watch films. When it comes to you, because you said, I hope those many people are there to watch the film, I'm sure there will be. Because I don't think yours is a perception built by putting in the work, oh, mujhe ye perception banana hai, mujhe followers badana hai. It's this journey that's very genuine, authentic, honest. So I think those people will come on the seats.
Well, I hope so. I would rather be the celebrity. Well, I'm not a celebrity, but I would rather be the actor who doesn't say, come see my movie because I'm a star that you should watch. I would rather be the guy who says, please come see my movie because I haven't done one in 10 years and I put my heart and soul into it and I don't know if it's going to work or not. But it's the most exciting thing I've ever done. Maybe that's the marketing campaign for, I don't know.
Experience a membership that backs what you're building with American Express Business Platinum. Get 2 times membership rewards points per dollar on eligible purchases in key business categories, as well as on each eligible purchase of $5,000 or more, on up to $2 million in eligible purchases per calendar year. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
But I think that's a worry a lot of people have because the theatrical footfalls are really dwindling and it's so unpredictable today. Nobody can understand what's going on or what Amir did with Sitare Zameen, but I think it's fantastic. Really.
I love how he's like, hold my beer, main industry ko badal ke aata hu. You know what I mean? He's just like, I'll just change the whole industry and come back and rewrite the model of, well done, man.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's the only one I think who could really do this.
Yeah.
But I think for one to do this, it's also the kind of faith you need to have in your product. That is immense.
I've not met a man more secure than him in his own creativity. As a producer, he's my producer.
Yeah.
To just focus on story, nothing else, just story. Lapata Ladies, look at this thing. Just
phenomenal.
The largely unknown names or unknown actors, not unknown but not very well-known actors. Story. This is the right guy for the job.
Absolutely.
Even with Happy Patel, he just focused on story and we're a mad comedy. We're very outrageous, right? But still drove us towards what is happening to the character, what is the story, what is the core story of the film. Said cast who you think is right for it. I could not have asked for a better producer to debut as a director.
What about directing it? What was that like for you?
I co-directed it with Kavi Shastri. It was great. When I directed, I realized what a small part of the movie an actor actually is. Actor itna chota sa hissa hai movie. And he shows up like, Baba, mera juice, main ye, main wo, etc. etc. तू इतना बड़ा है रे, इतना बड़ा है, ये बाकी सब कुछ काम हो रहा है, 500 लोग का काम चल रहा है, तू एक आदमी है मूवी पे. So when I finally directed, I'm like, my God, why? If I had just been an AD when I was growing up, my whole film career could have gone differently. I would have known really what a film is.
Yeah.
I didn't know because I got shortcutted into them. Like that's why when these star children, they work as ADs, it's very beneficial to them. By the time they become a star, they know what a film is. Yeah.
Talking about Kavi, you said you both are background dancers in Love Aajkal. Of course, Saif was in that. And then you went on to do Go Goa Gone as well with him, right? What was Go Goa Gone for you? Because that became like this cult film back then. You got so much love for it. And I, for one, really thought we'd see you in a lot more stuff after Go Goa Gone. What did that film really mean to you? That
was a blast. That was just a party. That was like Delhi Belly. It was great. Raj and DK were also kind of fresh and kind of raw and new, and even they were kind of figuring their shit out. It was nice. It was very free. Again, it took a Saif to be like, do what the hell you like. And I'll back it. You need that guy. The kind of freedom to give you as an artist. Yeah. Every time I've worked, it's because I have freedom. I think because you're choosing the people that you kind of align with them. Yeah, but also like on a Call Me Bay, Karan and Colin were just like, go. run free.
Yeah.
You know, and that's very rare. The ADs were very nice on Call Me Babe. My first day on set, all the ADs were like, "F you, man, we're so glad it's you." You know what I mean? Like, they were just like, because ADs are stand-up fans, right? At the end of the day,
Cute.
so they're all like, "F you, man, like you should play this guy because you're the opposite of this guy, etc.,
Yeah, yeah,
etc.,
yeah,
etc." So there's a really nice, welcoming atmosphere.
So now that we've spoken about your acting career, we've spoken about Happy Patel, your co-directorial debut. I would love to talk about Full Volume that comes on Netflix.
It is a special that is shot by an Indian crew in 3 continents. Went to London,
Yeah.
we went to New York, we did a stadium in Mumbai, and we're like, we're not hiring crew from over there.
Nice.
We found Indians over there.
Very nice.
My DP, Siddharth Vasani, is from here. We
Okay.
found a crew that shoots weddings in London. We went and shot a special as Indians in iconic venues across the world. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah.
It's about silence. It's about losing your voice. It's unrehearsed. You know, so it is really me sharing very intrusive thoughts. It's
Yeah.
not as calculated and as crafted as my previous specials. It's very silly.
Yeah.
It's very foolish. And I hope you like it. It comes out July 18th. That's all I'm
Yes.
going to say.
And then you, of course, have another flavor that you've added to your vada pav, which is The Outsider.
It is so hard to write a book as a dyslexic person. It is the hardest thing you will ever do in your life. But also to look at your life from like a non-judgmental way, a non-chronicle way, a non-arrogant way.
Right.
My whole book is about my failures. It's
Okay.
not about successes at all. So I hate arrogant celebrity memoirs. So my book is, I felt like a loser, outsider, outcast, imposter my entire life. And if that's you, this book is for you. It's not like, here's how I did this shit, or here's the path to success. All of that. There is the life of the party. And then there's one person in the corner of the party like, my God, I got invited to the party. I don't know. Am I wearing the right thing? Should I talk to people? Should I not talk to people? Should I just try and play it cool? I don't know. Should I leave? If that's you, this book is for you. But if you're the life of the party or the cool kid, or if you listen to a successful dude podcasts on the internet, etc., etc.,
Yeah.
my book is not for you at all.
Any of those things though change, like you said, you know, I think live largely with this imposter syndrome, and where you're kind of, I am as a person slightly underconfident, not sure of what I'm doing, and like you mentioned, if you're any of these things, this book is for you, right? But has any of that changed since then?
No. I feel like a kid who got given the keys to the store. There are no parents, and I'm like, shit, there's so much candy. What am I doing here? You know, that's the only way I know how to describe it.
So a very befitting name for a book, I would like to think. And a recent comment from your audience, either online or while you performed, what's that one comment that stays rent-free in your mind?
Somebody wrote to me saying, I see you trying new things and trust that I'll show up for them.
How nice is
And I
that?
was like, my God, what a lovely, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I see you trying,
Yeah.
and I see you're not good at it yet, but I see you trying, because like my new show is a different format, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. So they came for the trial show, and they were like, I see you trying new things, it's going to get better, and I'll show up for the complete project. And I was like, shit,
Yeah.
what a great audience member to have, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And on that note, thank you so much for joining me.
I
Thank
appreciate
you so much for this. Thank
Bye.
you.